Miss Amanda.
Good morning.
So, listeners and viewers, you get to see Diana barefaced this morning because I got to spend a fabulous weekend at Amanda's house. And per usual, we forgot something. And this time, the thing we forgot was our toiletries bag, which has all of my makeup in it. So, hi.
You
In
forgot your
case we were
makeup bag
just,
last time, too.
yeah, but Shane caught us at the gas station.
Oh, no, that was the time before.
Oh man, I just don't want my
Remember
makeup
last time I
apparently.
shipped it to you?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. We always leave something. We always leave something. And usually it's more than one something. And
Yes.
I was going to say usually it's my kids, but apparently the last 3 times it's been me.
Don't worry, they
So,
forgot stuff, too. Not
of
this trip, I
course,
don't think. I haven't seen anything yet.
I was on them. I was like, make sure you check under the mat. Let's put E's bed back. Like, and we're the ones who forgot a whole like bag of stuff. I hope you use some of that magnesium. Please tell
I
me you got yourself
did.
a big old bunch of that magnesium.
Not a big old bunch. I got a little bit. By the way, you have a hole in the bottom of the bag.
Oh no.
Shane said he was going to reseal it. I don't know how he resealed it.
Okay.
Um,
So Amanda and I both love magnesium salt, so Epsom salt. And if you have not been introduced to an Epsom salt bath, we will not call you a grandma. We will call you brilliant when you do it. But I remember thinking this is something my granny would do when I first started doing Epsom salt baths. And then I did them and I was like, oh, this is
this
why
is
my
fine.
granny did it because it's brilliant. Um, so because my parents are farmers, they get bulk ingredients to make their own feed. And one of the bulk ingredients that they get is um, ag mag, I think is what it's called. So agriculture magnesium. It's the same chemical makeup as Epsom salt. And it's huge bag. Like it's like 40 pounds or something like that for like $14. So whenever I need some, I just tell them, hey, can you order an extra bag and I'll pay you for it? And she does, and it's brilliant. And I have this huge bag of magnesium on hand and just throw it around like sprinkles when the kids take baths. Like, here, you need magnesium, and you need magnesium, and you need magnesium, and just, get everybody all mineraled up before they go to bed.
Yep.
So we took that with us this time and forgot that too.
Yep. I didn't feel bad that you forgot that one. E used it first, and Shane
Nice.
saved me some, and then I got to use some of it last night.
Mm-hmm.
But Shane got me some out in a little cup, and so I had to add more to it.
Uh-huh. Definitely.
Um,
I am
but
generous with that stuff. I'm like, oh, we're doing
me
like a
too.
cup and a half at least per bath.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, when Shane picked it up to take it into the bathroom, he was like, "What is this noise?" And he looks down and there's a small hole in it.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, "I'm taking this out. I'm sealing this up. You could have a cup."
Not sweeping
And
my trail up.
we have Shane and I both swept that night. And then I swept twice yesterday morning. There's still
Still
holes.
crystals.
Yeah, everywhere. I was like, it's all right. It's all right. It was worth it.
Sorry. Sorry. Well, today we are going to be talking about the pro moms at the baby shower. Um, so I don't know about you guys, but have you ever been like making a baby registry or looking at a baby registry for a shower or shopping for a baby shower and just been overwhelmed by the sheer number of options and products?
Yes.
It's nuts. Like it's absolutely nuts. Um, passy and bottle and diaper choices alone feel innumerable. Like, well, do I get Pampers? Do I get Huggies? Do I get Parents' Choice? Do I get Costco? What do I get for diapers or wipes? Like, just it's nuts. Then you get into clothes and mobiles and books and tummy time mats and noisemakers. Like, that's just the beginning of all the things that you could get. There are a lot of things available. Wipe warmers. Those, they sound good in theory, but my friend who works in a hospital lab, she's like, those things breed bacteria like you would not believe. And I was like, I never would have even thought of that. And she's like, yeah, I will never ever get another wipe warmer for anyone again. Um, so there's just tons and tons of things available to get for new parents too, like for the mom. Like there's all of these things you can get for mom, whether she's nursing or bottle feeding or those are the only options, nursing or bottle feeding, like cloth diapering, disposable diapering, like whatever option you choose, there are a intimidating number of options available to get. So today, because I don't know about Amanda, but I've had a lot of baby showers this year. It feels like we went through a lull where there wasn't very many baby showers, and this year we've had like 5. Um, so we wanted to go through what we as experienced moms found the most useful or most enjoyable when we had little babies. The things that were like, okay, we would want that again if we were having babies. Um, and what we would actually get for another mom or what we would want at a baby shower. Um, and as I was writing this, I just realized, Amanda, did you get a baby shower for E? You didn't, did
Well,
you?
I take that back. Uh, our small group threw us a baby shower,
Okay,
but there wasn't like I registered for a bunch of things
right.
and my family and friends were there to celebrate.
Yeah.
Couple weeks after we got him, our small group at the time came together and bought us a bunch of like they got us an umbrella stroller, um, some passies, some wipes, some diapers, things like that. A
Hmm.
couple outfits. But I didn't get the traditional baby shower.
I don't like that.
A couple of people wanted to throw me one, but I was like, this feels weird. And especially like at the time they started talking about it, we were still doing visitations.
Mhm.
And I was like, I do not want a bunch of people to spend a lot of money on me and then this not work out.
Yeah.
So I told them if they wanted, they could give us gifts at the adoption party for him, but we didn't get the traditional baby shower.
Okay. Adoption party is going to be lit.
Yes, we're very excited.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Um, so I'm stuck because that bugs me. I get it because it is a weird thing because with fostering, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get to keep whoever you're bringing home. And I remember you talking about you had kind of a stipend for getting some of the things that you needed with the foster care system. So that kind of helps offset the
Oh,
cost of
yeah,
it a lot. Um,
so much. Honestly, the way that we set up his stuff, um, about 2 weeks in, we had an appointment with the investigator and his worker and parents and they brought me a check that day, like handed me a physical check. And so the next day or day after, it was the same week. You guys were actually coming in to visit that day. I remember specifically because we did not know if we were going to get home in time.
Mm-hmm.
Shane and I went to the bank, a different bank from our bank, and started him his own account that, of course, has our names on it. But we wanted like his debit card to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And when we set up payments for it's called a board bill, um, it goes directly onto that card. And so we use that card for gymnastics. For a little while, we used it for swim, but with the way that payments were set up, it just wasn't going to work for that. Um, and then we've used that for diapers, some snacks, wipes. We buy in bulk
Mm-hmm.
and get like the big pack of diapers, um, and wipes.
Yeah.
Uh, but then that's also how we were able to purchase his very expensive stroller.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most of his clothes have come out of that account, things like that. And his trips and a lot of
His
his
furniture, a
toys,
lot of his furniture
furniture
came
came
out
out
of
of
there.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His bedroom decor, all of that, like pretty
Well, and
much
I
everything
remember
else.
you being at one of his early appointments and the doctor asking about, so you're set up for formula, right? And you were like, well, we bought some. And he goes, oh, no, no, no. You should be getting, you should just be getting formula. Like you should be getting money for formula, um,
Yeah.
which is wonderful and overwhelming, like all at the same time, all of the
Yeah.
things.
And while he was on the formula, we used it. We were on WIC.
Mhm.
And then when he stopped doing formula, I was like, this isn't worth it.
Mhm.
Because he didn't need anything on it.
Mhm.
Nothing. And I was like, it is such a hassle. And every 3 months, I have to get up early, drive to Corbin to his pediatrician, pick up the paper, take it to London, go back home, have 3 phone calls during the day, and then it's set up within 24 hours. But it's like he doesn't need anything on it. And it's
Mhm.
such a hassle at the grocery store
Mhm.
to find the stuff that's covered that I was finally just like, I'm done.
Mhm.
Don't wear this.
Yeah. Yeah, we had WIC for a short while. I guess it was around 2 years actually. It wasn't that short. And we never used the milk. Um, but we used the tuna and some of the cereal and some of the baby food and all of the produce option every time. I was like, give me all the produce money. Anything that'll help our budget. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. I did some of the produce when I was making his baby food.
Hmm.
And then I did the string cheese.
Hmm.
But I was like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle when we're
No,
also getting the board bill every month.
yeah, yeah. So sorry, guys, I got off on a total like sidetrack there. But if you have friends who are in the foster system who are wanting to adopt these babies, kind of like keep that in mind. Like maybe you can't, maybe they don't want a traditional shower, but maybe there's something special that you can get for them that they wouldn't think to get for themselves, or they still need the time investment. Like your friends who are in the foster system, they still need someone to come and maybe watch baby while they take a shower. Maybe they want some extra paper plates to help handle the meal mess. Maybe they need someone to come do some laundry. Maybe they need someone to come do some dishes. Like, still offer those things like you would as though they were having a newborn, especially if it's a little baby that they're fostering. Um, because those parents still need our support too. Like, that's still a new family and a huge adjustment. Um, and they want and deserve support too.
Mhm.
So they might not need the same support as a traditional mom who is paying for stuff out of pocket and doesn't have the stipend, but they definitely still need the emotional and physical support that you can provide for them.
Mhm.
Um, we're going to talk about that a little bit because one of the things that I get at baby showers now are like coupons for housework. um, but the first thing on my list is teething necklaces. And
Yes.
I know this is kind of controversial because there's lots of people who get very scared about the amber teething necklaces for kids, but I love them. I love them
Mhm.
for all three of my kids. I do feel like they made a difference. It's not like giving your kid Tylenol. It's not going to take all the pain away, but it really did just take the edge off when teething started and when fussiness started, and it reduced the drooling by so much. So that is something that I have gotten for moms for a baby shower present. And if you don't feel comfortable putting it on their neck, which I get, most of them have really great safety breakaway clasps and things like that. So they do take that into account when they make them. They're made very safely. But if you don't feel safe putting them around the neck, what I did for a long time with Ebb was I would wrap it around his ankle and then put a sock over it. So he couldn't get to it. It wasn't anywhere near his neck. Um, but it was still touching his skin. And that's the most important thing is to get it to touch the skin. Um, with the teething necklaces, I would also get a silicone bead teething necklace for mom because I know it's a newborn and I know it's a newborn shower, but you really need some things to cope with teething when it comes along. And for some babies, it comes along a lot sooner than you think it's going to. So if you go on Etsy and you look up silicone teething necklaces, they are so fun. There's so many of them that are really pretty. They also have wooden bead teething necklaces. Like there's all kinds of options. And I think I had like three by the time I was done having kids because they always want to grab your necklace or your earrings and chew on it. So it's jewelry that's made specifically for them to chew on. And it was fabulous because it just calmed them down and it gave them something to do. And I was holding them all the time anyway. I was either wearing them or holding them. So they weren't pulling on my hair or grabbing my earrings or my glasses or things like that to try to chew on. And you're not trying to pick things up all the time. Like they're not dropping their teething toy or their teether and you have to bend down and pick it up because it's attached to mom. So it's just
Mhm.
going to be there. So that's one of my first things. Um, My second thing is probably my favorite thing to get at a baby shower, or to give at a baby shower. And I apologize because I got a little carried away last night when I was making my stack. Um, because I love giving books and I love getting books. And I started getting into our old board books from when the kids were especially small. And I was like, I forgot about this one. And oh, we love this one so much. So, I have a whole stack and I'm gonna show them to the camera. I don't know if they show up backwards when you guys see them. I apologize if they do. Um, one of my very favorites is Margaret Wise, The Big Red Barn. And this is our third copy, and you can see that it's already like this, it's gotten a lot of use. Um, Board books are awesome because my kids loved looking at them themselves, and they're just so much more durable. I can't tell you how many books that we have had that have been teethed on the corner and they survived and they're still very readable. So board books are a wonderful invention and they're super fun. So I recommend board books. But that's my big red barn by Margaret Wise Bow. That's not right. Margaret Wise Brown. I almost called her Bauer for some reason, and I don't know why. We love Sandra Boynton, and she
Yes.
has so many books, you guys. And I have never read a bad Sandra Boynton book.
Mhm.
This one, we read so much, my kids still have it memorized to this day. This is Moo Ba La 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 by Sandra Boynton. She also makes bath books,
Hmm.
and um, I couldn't find ours, or I would show it to you. But she's got like 3 bath time books, and they're like the size of a board book, but they're made out of plastic with like air and foam inside. And the one that we had a squeaker in the back, and it would float in the bath, and you can read it in the bath. And it was very fun. I loved it. But Moo Ba La 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 is probably one of our very favorites of hers.
Mm.
I also love Snuggle Puppy,
Yes.
and I will still sing Snuggle Puppy to my kids. Sing, ooh, I love you. Anyway, sorry, distracted. Even if you're not musical, you can find some rhythm with Sandra Boynton just because her words are so rhythmical.
Mm.
Time for Bed by Mim Fox is just a gorgeous, peaceful little book about all different moms telling their animal babies good night. And it's lovely. Um, Bear Snores On by Karma Wilson. She has several bear books. This is the first one that we were introduced to, and my kids think it's hilarious. Like, they still think it's funny that Bear can sleep through this party that ends up happening in his cave, and then he wakes up and becomes part of the party at the end.
We got
Um,
that book at Chick-fil-A.
it's so random.
They were doing they may still be, I don't know, it's been a minute since we've been there, but they were doing, like, tiny books
Oh, that's
in the
cool.
kids' meals,
Mm-hmm.
and so we got Bear Sleeps On as, like, a small book, and I kept it in my purse.
I love Bear Sleeps On. I love Karma Wilson. She has a lot of fun books. Um, this series is new to me. We just got some of these for Easter, even though they're board books. I just really enjoy them. We have a lot of little babies that come to our house. And so I like keeping books on hand that they can gum on and keep. And we still read a couple of our board books every now and then when we just need a comfort book. Um, the series is called Baby Believer. And we have another one of these, but I can't find it because the girls have it in their room and they are looking at it. And it is the might be here on the back. No, it's not here on the back. There's one that's about the garden, and that's the one they have in their room, and it's really pretty. But this one is called Psalms of Praise, a movement primer. And so you go through and it gives you these really pretty illustrations with a short bite of a psalm. So the first one is I praise you for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And then you go in through with movements and you've got kneel, and there's a psalm for that. You've got stand and there's a psalm for that. You've got walk and there's a psalm for that. Run, jump, clap, dance. I love the dance one. The girls think that's really pretty. Sit and still. Oh, and lie down. So all the way through. And I've really enjoyed this, and I really enjoy the garden one, and I can't remember what it's called right now. So that's a cool new set of series that I am starting to get when I go to baby showers. For Ebb, we had all of the construction books for kids in bedtime, and I can't find any of them because they're in a box upstairs, which made me sad. But one that I could find that, of course, has gotten very well loved is Katie and the Big Snow. And this is by Virginia Lee Burton. And she has several books that Ebb liked. Another one is Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. So it's just personifying equipment. And it has these little extra illustrations around the edges. And it's an older, like, classic book, but he adored it. Like, Katie was so cool and so strong, and she saved the whole town because she's the only one who can keep going in a giant snowstorm. Um, this is one from my childhood that I brought in for my kids. It's called The Jolly Barnyard. It's a little golden book. I have no idea who the author is. They don't tell you on Little Golden Books usually. And it's Farmer Brown's birthday, and it's all about what the animals are going to give him for his birthday. And the illustrations are fantastic. I love it. We've read it tons and tons of times. This is our third copy of this book because we've read it so many times and it's gotten destroyed so many times. The monster at the end of this book is about Grover, and it's also a little golden book. And my kids think it's hysterical, and I got it because it's like one of those core memories for me. I remember my granny reading this book to me when I was little. So if you have not read this, it's one that you're going to enjoy too as a mom, because at least I enjoyed it, especially when I was tired, because Grover's funny. He's terrified because there's a monster at the end of the book. And then, spoiler alert, the monster is Grover. He's like, oh, it's me. There's an author, and his name is Matthew Paul Turner. And I think he has 3 books now. And we have all 3 of them, but I could only find one because, again, the girls take a bunch of books to their room and read them or just look at them. The one that I could find, and it's the first one we bought by him, is called When God Made Light. And then he also has one called When God Made You. And the other one is When I Pray for You. These books, you guys, they freaking make me cry. And I was going to read a line to you guys out of this one just because he's got like this beautiful cadence to his writing. It's very rhythmic. And let me find the spot. I should have marked it. So part of it says, because you're just like the sun and moon in the sky, as lustrous as twinkles that dazzle the eye. You're as splendid as lightning when it flashes so bright, because on the day you were born, God said, let there be light.
Oh.
So beam like the sun, glimmer like a star, and wherever you go, dark will stop being dark. Shimmer and shine, be a beacon so bright, because when God made you, child, God made light. And it just has super fun illustrations all the way through, and the words are amazing, and all 3 of his books are that way. So those are books that I get. Sorry, I have a lot of books. They're like, I don't get all of these for everybody, obviously, but these are some of the ones that I go to again and again. Goodnight Moon, Margaret Wise Brown, absolute classic. Every child needs this book. If you love this book, or you know your friend loves this book, or especially if you have someone who likes fantasy type stuff, you might also want Goodnight Unicorn. And it's called A Magical Parody. It's by Pearl E. Horn, and it goes through a lot of the same scenarios as Goodnight Goodnight Room or Goodnight Moon. And the little girl's book, or the little girl's room at the end of the book, is set up a lot like the room in Goodnight Moon, but there's unicorns everywhere. And it has unicorn facts at the end that my kids always ask me to read. So that's just a fun, like, alternative. I promise there's just 2 left. This is like so many books. I'm so sorry. The Runaway Bunny. Again, absolute classic. I love Margaret Wise Brown. This is a giant board book that I got from Costco, and it is fantastic. Look how huge it is. I love it.
Yeah, ours is not that size.
Most of them aren't. This was just one. It was totally an impulse buy at Costco, and I was like, "Oh, look at it! We already have 2 copies, and I don't care. I want this one too." And then another one that is fun because it's a wordless book, so you know when you're just exhausted and you're tired of reading. You can either make up your own story or just go through the pictures with your kids. The book is called Tuesday, And I think I've talked about it before. I don't remember why. Oh no, I talked about the author. Because he also wrote one of the books that I recommended for the beach. But Tuesday is upside down. It's a wordless book about one night at Tuesday at 8 o'clock, frogs get to fly and what they do when they fly on their lily pads all around the town. And the only words in it are David Weisner is the author. Tuesday evening around 8. That's the only words. And then at the very end, you have next Tuesday at 7:58 p.m. So everything else, it's just like almost comic strip looking, but with really fun illustrations and like what ifs if frogs flew around town in the middle of the night. And it's fun.
It's
So
cute.
that was a lot of words. Sorry, guys. I'm almost embarrassed now because like there was a lot of books. But we've been through 3 kids, and so those are books that I pulled them out because those are books that we go to over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like we use the heck out of those books, and we've had to get new copies of those books because we've used them so much. Um, do you want to talk for a little while? Because I have other things, but
Yes.
I'm going to give you a chance to talk for a little while.
I just want to add to your book list. I was not able to, well, I had the ability to. I just didn't get books out of E's room last night. Books that we really enjoy, books that I really enjoy is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. I have no idea who wrote it. I'm not as good as remembering authors, but Chicka Chicka Boom Boom is fabulous. There's such a fun cadence to it, and it really helps with learning the alphabet. There was a period in E's life where I had it memorized, and now I'm like, oh, wait. I do remember for sure. A told B and B told C, I'll reach to the top of the coconut tree. We said D to E, F, G. I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree. Chicka chicka boom boom. Will there be enough room? I could probably, if I had enough time, sit down and go through the whole book. But that's just so fun. And it really helps, especially like when they're little, the rhythm is fun.
Yes.
As they get a little older and they're learning their alphabet, that's fun for them. And then looking at pictures as they're being able to recognize letters is really fun for them. So highly suggest Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. Let me think. What were the other books that we really, really enjoyed? He really is like, now that he's 2.5, he is loving Hallmark books. And I'm just like, okay, there's one that we got. Well, we didn't buy any of them. My mother-in-law has bought them. Grandson, You Make the Whole World Grand. And that's a really sweet story about, I think there's 2 owls in that one. And it's a grandson and his grandpa, and they're like, you're so smart and you make the whole world grand and all this. And then finally at the end, it's grandson, you make my world so grand.
Aww.
It's so sweet. The other Hallmark book that E is obsessed with, and it's hilarious for me because it is so sweet and it makes my husband cry every time it's read, is called, I'm sorry, can I run and get that book?
Yeah, go get it.
So this one's called Thank You God for Daddy.
Aww.
And it's by Amy Parker. And it's just these 2 little lines. And the littlest line is like, thank you God for Daddy. He's the best hero around. And it's them wearing their capes. He leads me as I grow. He's so much fun. Um, he's very helpful. He's helpful to other people. This one made me tear up the first couple of times. Thank you, God, for Daddy. I know he trusts in you. I know he asks you questions, and I know you answer too.
Mm.
He helps me when I'm scared, and all I ever need is a daddy hug. And then, thank you, God, for Daddy, and Daddy, I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sweet. And my mother-in-law got that at Hallmark for Christmas last year.
It's awesome.
And he's obsessed with it. We read it every single day.
I feel like
And
we go
every
through
single
seasons of books. Like,
yeah. Every single time it's read, though, Shane gets a little teary-eyed.
that's awesome.
So we love that. And then mom hack. When your children get to the age where they want the same book read over and over and over and over, and you don't know if you can handle reading that book one more time, go to Barnes & Noble in the kids section in the back and buy the books with the buttons. There is a full set of Baby Shark. So Pinkfong, the people who did Baby Shark, has a couple of books. We have 2 of them, and I have more already on his birthday wish list.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can turn it to the page, and then there's the little symbol that tells you like which button to press on the end, whether it's an octopus or a shark or whatever. You can press that button, and it will read the page for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves it. And then when he goes, "Mommy, read this," I can press the button and hand him the book. And he is satisfied.
Yeah, there's definitely seasons where I was like, oh, can you just read it yourself? Like,
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah.
When we were at your house, he was reading one of my favorites that I forgot all about that the kids loved, and it was Little Blue Truck.
Yes. He's a fan of Little Blue Truck. We're also big fans of Goodnight, Goodnight Construction Site.
Yes. I was going to say that was one that Eb loved, was Goodnight, Goodnight Construction Site.
Yeah, we really like that one. He is a big reader.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already have a full library. And I was looking the other day, I was like, I could definitely pare back some of these books. But really, the only books we could get rid of are the high contrast books.
Mm-hmm.
Because he genuinely reads most
Yeah.
of the books.
Oh, yeah. And he was pulling out books for us to read when we were there. He's like, hey, this one, and this one, and this
Yeah.
one.
But yeah, those are my books. I guess to do like 1 or 2 things from my registry or my to purchase list. I have become obsessed with Frida Baby.
Mm-hmm.
All the Frida Baby.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the night that we got the call about E. Shane and I did a mad dash through Target
Mm-hmm.
and what is it? Bye Bye Baby.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the Frida Baby No Sucker, I looked at Shane and I said, okay, white people are doing too much. Because we are the only ones who thinks it's a good idea to put something in our child's nose and something else in our mouth and go. I was like, that is the nastiest thing I've ever heard of. And then when we got E, the bulbs didn't fit in his nose. It was too
Mm-hmm.
small.
Mm-hmm.
But because it was so small, his sinuses couldn't drain right.
Mhm.
And so we were finally on our like, we couldn't take it anymore. We had to do something. And I had to go to the store and buy a Frida Baby nose sucker. And the first couple of times I used it, I gagged the
Mhm.
entire time. And it's not what I thought it would be.
You
Like,
can't actually get it in your mouth. Like
no.
there's a membrane where you can't actually get it in your mouth, but the idea of it is still disgusting.
Yeah. Um, and so like I loved mine. And then the last time he got a cold, I called the pediatrician just because, foster kid, anytime there's an issue, I
You
want it
have to
on
call.
record
Mhm.
that I have tried to seek help.
Yeah.
Um, but I called the pediatrician's office and was like, I don't know do you have any suggestions? Like, normally at this point, I would just like keep him in the nursery with a humidifier going and I'd hang out in there all day long. That's not an option right now because he is a toddler and he is not going to just sit in his room all day long.
Mhm.
And she's like, if you can stomach it, I think you need to go get a Frida Baby nose sucker. And I was like, I have got that one. And she's like, do it every morning before he wakes up, do it just before nap time, do it just before bedtime, and then before and after every meal. And
Mhm.
she's like, it's a lot, but it works. And she
Mhm.
was correct.
Good.
So the last baby shower gift I got was a Frida Baby sick day kit
Mhm.
that came with like definitely the nose sucker because I was determined to get that. I think there was a thermometer, Frida Baby thermometer in that one. I don't even remember what all,
Mhm.
but that's a really, really good brand. And the other like health thing that I get, I will get for sure one Frida Baby and one Warmies every baby
Oh
shower.
yeah. I want a warmies for myself.
What? Um,
You'll have to
E
explain what
had
it is.
colic. Yeah, E had colic really bad, and nothing helped. Somebody told me about them, and it took me forever to find, and I finally just ordered one online. I wanted one to just drive and pick up somewhere and couldn't find them anywhere. Now they're everywhere. Um, but they are little stuffed animals that have some type of bead. I want to say maybe flaxseed in it
I don't
and
remember.
lavender for sure.
Mhm.
Dried lavender inside. And they're super soft, but they're weighted. And you can put them in the microwave
Mhm.
for, I think it's 5 or 10 seconds,
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
and put it on their little tummies. Just lay it across them when they have colic. And it helps so much. I could not have made it through those first couple of months without it.
Mhm.
And then as they grow, it can also be an ice pack. So you can put it down in a Ziploc bag, like a gallon bag, and put it in the freezer. And then you can use it as an ice pack later if they need it.
Mhm.
So we have not got to that point yet. Right now, it is still just a favorite toy.
Mhm. And
We love
for
it.
mamas, when your cycle comes around, it's great for cramps.
Hmm.
Lay on your belly for cramps. That's why I wanted like I want one for me.
But yeah, those are my absolute. I have to give every baby shower gifts.
Love it. So, I have a few more, a few more. And I don't get all of these for everybody. A lot of it depends on the mom and how well I know her and things like that. But here lately, I've been giving a lot of paper plates and plastic utensils. And when I say paper plates, Costco has this pack of paper plates and it's two stacks together. And they're not the nicest paper plates, but they are still very functional. 600 paper plates for the price of a box of wipes. Love it. I will get that for moms because, I mean, really, who needs to be doing dishes when you've got a little bitty? Like, that's the
Mhm.
worst. Um, and it just takes the pressure off. Sometimes people feel guilty about buying paper plates for themselves, but if someone else buys them for you, then there's no reason not to use them. Um, I don't often get diapers anymore because kids change sizes so much and different parents use different brands and different sizes, but I will get so many wipes. Like, I will go to wipes because my kids haven't needed to have their diapers changed for years and I still buy wipes. Like, I love baby wipes. I use them all the time. There's a pack in our bathroom, there's a pack in our car, there's a pack in our kitchen, there's a pack in our bedroom, like there's a pack in my purse. I just have baby wipes all the time for all the things.
What's your brand?
The Huggies, um, hypoallergenic ones, so like natural, gentle, aloe, whatever they are, fragrance free, because none of us could handle the fragrance. Um, Evie and I are both really allergic to synthetic fragrances, and it gives us hives. But those we don't react to at all.
I've been very, very strict water wipes only
Hmm.
for most of his life,
Hmm.
just because he also has trouble with his eyes.
Hmm.
And like, I don't want to get something that has like soap in it
Hmm.
and then have to wipe his eye. So we have done just the water wipes brand. If I have to, I'll do Baby Ganix or Hello Bello,
Hmm.
but I really try to avoid those. Even I am pretty hardcore into my water wipes, man.
Well, we tried a lot of wipes, and I thought I was gonna like the Costco wipes when the kids were small, but something didn't agree with their skin. I don't know what it was. Um, and so we just kept going back. For some reason, Huggies worked for us with the super like hypoallergenic ones. Um, I'll even use them to remove my makeup when I'm too lazy to wash my face. Like, we really like those a lot. I'm saying a lot today. Probiotic drops. So there's a specific probiotic drop that I love to death. We used it a lot before we realized that Evie had a lip and tongue tie and it still helped her belly. It is by BioGaia, Gaia. It's whatever you use for Earth. Um, and I'm trying to remember what the actual probiotic in it is. Reuteri, um, Reuteri. L. reuteri is the actual strain of probiotic. And you guys, it's a miracle worker. If you've got a baby who's really fussy or colicky or has a bellyache, I swear by it. And I will get it for almost every new mom. Whether you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding or whatever, it just is fabulous for belly issues. Um, we had a lot of belly issues. So several of these are going to be for belly issues. The other one for belly issues is we were desperate with Evie because we could not get someone to diagnose her lip and tongue tie. So she had a lot of air bubbles in her belly when she would nurse. And we also had some food allergies that we were trying to figure out that would upset her belly. So one of the things that we used for her was a fennel and catnip tincture that I made at home. And no, I did not give my baby alcohol. I would rub it on her feet or her belly, and it would still help. Like if you were going to take medicine, instead of taking it internally, I would rub it on her belly or her feet, and it helped a ton. Another one was chamomile tincture, and I would also rub it on her belly or her feet. And that one was really nice when we started teething because I could also rub it on her gums. So those have to do with belly. The other one that would have to do with belly is a really diluted digestin from doTERRA. We'd use that on her belly and her feet. So just kind of assume someone's going to have belly problems at some point, and I get them one or some combination of those, depending on how crunchy they are and how comfortable they feel with those options. Pretty much everybody feels comfortable with the probiotic drops, so I usually get those first, and I save the others for if someone's like, "Hey, my baby's having belly issues." Um, Coupons for housework because Moms aren't always great at asking for help when they need it. So I literally write it out. Okay, coupon is good for me to come do your dishes. This coupon is good for me to come fold your clothes. This coupon is good for me to come watch baby while you do self-care and take a shower. This coupon is good for me to come vacuum your house, or multiples of those. And I'll follow that up with a phone call and say, hey, those coupons, what days do you want me to come do those? Um, because a lot of people will say, let me know if you need anything. That doesn't work. We've talked about this before on the podcast. That doesn't work for grief. That doesn't work for babies. That doesn't work for when you're sick, because your brain is not there. Your brain is not going to say, oh, I need X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to call somebody. You need to offer very specific things for moms so that A, they can't say no, and B, they don't have to think about it so hard. So 2 more things. Sorry, I know this is a lot. One that I get weird things, and that's okay. You guys know I'm weird, and it's just fine. I call it super butt cream, and it's another one that we found because Evie, her tummy troubles were so hard, and our pediatrician actually prescribed it to us, but then she told me how to make it because it's cheaper to make it than to get a prescription. And it is 1 tube of antibiotic cream, not like the salve. You want the cream because it'll mix better. 1 tube of cortisone cream, 1 tube of Lotrimin, which is an antifungal, and depending on my budget or what I can find, I'll also use a tube of Miconazole, which is another antifungal. And I'll take a little bitty mason jar and I'll mix them all together really well. It will heal up any diaper rash you encounter within like a day and a half. I love it to death. And we still keep it on hand to treat things like poison ivy or bug bites or random rashes that we get. I love super butt cream. It's the best. Then the last one, I don't actually get this one as a gift, but I totally recommend people ask for it, is when you get a stroller. The umbrella strollers are great, but I don't like them for anything long distance. I don't really like them for when you're at the zoo or you're at a park or you have any kind of rough ground. Like, you're going to look at all of these fancy strollers and they're great and they're fun, but they all have little bitty tires. Little bitty tires stink for rough ground. If you're going over a yard, if you're going over gravel, if you're going into like that park mulch stuff that's in the park, those little bitty tires are a pain, and they're going to jostle your baby awake if they're asleep, and they're hard to push through stuff. So when you're looking for a stroller to put on your registry, I highly recommend looking for one that has a bigger tire. We're talking like a bicycle size tire. And they're usually called a jogging stroller or a running stroller. Doesn't matter if you don't jog or run. They are such a smoother ride, and they will go literally anywhere. And I can't remember the brand that we got, but we loved it. It had this shade thing that would go in any direction as well. Like, it was very flexible. It didn't just go and stop right there, which is kind of useless because the sun doesn't just stop right there. So functional stroller. So
Functional stroller. I got you. That is the thing I'm most proud of, and it's the second most expensive item I have. I bought the Mom Push. It's the off-brand for UPPAbaby, and it comes with like a bassinet for the early years to make a pram. So we used that one up until he was about 10 months old. And then we switched to the other seat. But oh my gosh, I freaking love this stroller. My sister-in-law calls it the Cadillac of strollers. With the bassinet, it doesn't have like, I don't know what you call it, like the straps or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it has like a zipped thing that it's a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And I could just lay him in it. And I could open up the thing, the cover, and he could look around. I could take it shopping. I could take it anywhere. And it's got a bigger, what do you call that at the bottom? It's not a
Like
base.
the canvas thing that like holds stuff at the bottom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't
It's
know
got
what to
a
call it either.
bigger one of
Sling?
those. Yeah.
I don't know what to call
Sure. And it also has like a magnetic piece that pulls out towards mom
it. Mm-hmm.
that you can put stuff down in there. And then I bought like a $5 skip hop thing to add to it
Mm-hmm.
that I can put my drinks. I can fit in there's two cup holders. I can usually fit a third one in like the middle section, and then it has a zip off, like removable little wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a place to put headphone strings.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. But I could just put him in it and he could sleep so well.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's bigger
Mm-hmm.
and it's harder to fit in places, but it
Mm-hmm.
is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that he's bigger and he is not going to handle a pram,
No, he's gonna fall
um,
out of a pram.
yeah, you can, it came with the bigger seat. So I didn't have to buy them separately. They all came together. And you can choose which way he faces. He can face me, he can face out. He has always wanted to face out. But it still has the cover, and on the cover, you can lift it. There's like a little mesh part you can lift up so you can see down there. Um, it has a piece that goes over him. So if I know that we're just going like a few feet,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to necessarily buckle him in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's It's excellent, and it has the bigger tires. It doesn't have, like, the jogging stroller tire, but it does have, like, much bigger tires, all 4 to help. It takes a second to set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely 100% worth it.
Good.
I tell every new mom about my stroller. I freaking love it, and
I
so
loved our
many.
stroller. I miss it actually sometimes. When we go to the zoo, I'm like, where am I supposed to put my stuff? Like
We
I miss
also
having my stroller.
we also have a wagon
Mm-hmm.
that is wonderful. I don't remember the brand of my wagon. I didn't get the Radio Flyer. I didn't get the Wonder Wheel. Maybe I did get the Radio Flyer. I know I didn't get the Wonder Wheel or Wonder Wagon or whatever that thing's called because I was not about to pay that. But it has a cover on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it has the option. You can push it like a stroller or pull it like a wagon, and it also has the bigger wheels on it. I enjoy that for like festivals and things like that. Comes in
Yes.
handy. And it has 2 buckles.
Mm-hmm.
So I can buckle him and my niece in. We've
Mm-hmm.
done that a couple of times. Doesn't always work out well, but we've tried it.
You made the effort.
Yeah. um, but that is an absolute must have. My other thing that I would suggest putting on a registry. I have not purchased this for anybody else because it is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But get an outlet or
Oh
something
yeah.
similar.
Oh man, I'm so jealous of your outlet. Like they didn't. If they had them available when my kids were babies, I didn't know about it, but it would have helped me sleep so much better.
Mm.
I'll let you explain what it is because you suggested it. I think it's a brilliant idea.
So with an outlet, like you have to make sure to clean it well. Like it gets a bad rap, but a lot of the cases that you see are people that aren't taking care of it. Um, but it's a little sock that you just Velcro around your baby's foot, and you can put a sock on over top of it if you want. You can put footy pajamas on over it. Um, but it's a little sock that has a sensor in it. And you charge it during the day or, whenever your baby's not sleeping. And you can download the app. And on the app, it tells you pretty, like fairly accurately, their heart rate and their oxygen levels.
Mm-hmm.
And if at any point that drops down, then it's going to sound an alarm and you need to go check on your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have only had that happen one time, that the alarm sounded and it was real and we needed to run. And that was when he was 9 days old and was, what's the word? I don't want to say. He was coming off some pretty rough stuff.
Yeah.
His heart rate was very high. And I needed to just sit and hold him and monitor him for a while, several hours. But it gave me such a good peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I
And
got
as
the
a new
one.
mom, that's one of the things that you are absolutely terrified of, and that pediatricians tend to try to terrify you with is SIDS. Like, they
Yes,
try to completely freak you out with SIDS, and it is terrifying. Like, it's a
it
terrifying
is.
prospect, and that would have given me such peace of mind to have that, even
Mm.
though, like, we didn't end up having any issues, of course, but it still would have just given you such peace of mind.
Oh, yeah. I never would have slept any other way. Especially with foster kids, you're not allowed to co-sleep.
Mhm.
And even in the pediatrician's office, like, they suggest sleeping in the room with them. But with the way that the foster system is set up and the rules that are in place, and I completely, like, don't get me wrong, I completely understand why the rules are what the rules are.
Mhm.
But me not being able to have him in the room with me,
Yes. I can't imagine. I couldn't have
I
done it.
I was already nervous with the outlet. But, like, I got the outlet. I paid a little bit extra. It got the one with the camera,
Mhm.
and I never did hang it up. I just set it on the edge of his crib, and then I put it on the um ottoman in his
Mhm.
room when we switched, and now he doesn't need it. But oh my gosh, and I had to buy a charging station for me and Shane so that we could prop our phones up to where we could see them, and both of us had the Owlet app open on our phones all night long,
Mhm.
just in case one of us didn't
Mhm.
wake up. And it was so nice to be able at any given moment to just open my eyes, see my kid,
Mhm.
and look at his heart rate and his oxygen levels.
Mhm.
Um, when I say take care of it, you need to wash the socks.
Mhm.
You need to clean the sensor.
Mhm.
Yes, it's an electronic, and yes, it seems like you shouldn't be able to, but you need to do it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it can get gunked up and it can affect the battery and it can burn your baby.
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah. But and it's a very simple
Yeah.
wash. So you take the sensor, you pop it off the sock. It's very easy to do. It's not hard at all to get it in and out of the sock. You take soap and water, scrub it with your fingers. If you need to, you can take like a toothbrush to it, let it dry. And while it's drying, you can get the sock, scrub it with soap and water and a toothbrush, and that dry. And then just put the sensor back on the sock and it's ready to go.
Mhm.
Very simple, very important.
Mhm.
I was trying to think if there was anything else that I was like, oh, this was a game changer for me. But I don't.
Babies are simpler than we've made them into.
Yeah.
Like they really are. Oh, I know one. I never got this at a shower or got it for someone, but I would totally put it on the registry. Some kind of baby wrap for baby
Yes.
like wearing.
The
I don't know
boba.
why I forgot that. I love the boba. I love ergo. I love ergo because ergo you have it can be very convertible. You can have it when the baby is itsy bitsy. They even have this little tulip looking, I'm making hands down here that you can't see, but this little tulip looking thing for when they're all squishy and you want more like you got to bring them up higher. Um and then you can carry them all the way up until they're 40 pounds with the ergo, and you can carry them on the front or the back. So I loved my ergo, and I loved my um is it Moby? Is that the name of the wrap? The
Hmm.
one that goes all the way around your body? I had all of the baby carrying things. And then I also had a ring sling, and I liked that when they got a little bigger. But when they were teeny tiny, it was the Moby or the ergo. Those were my go-tos.
For me, I didn't want anything that bulky.
Hmm.
So I went with the boba, which boba and Moby are about the same.
Yeah.
Um, it was excellent. It freaked me out the first couple of times I used it. I also gave one to my brother because I had to get two.
Hmm.
Um, I gave one to my brother and it freaked him out and he was like, I can't use this with my child. But you like tie a knot. Like it comes with there's a little logo, and you put the logo over your chest, and that's how you know how to start tying. You tie the knot, you slip their little legs down in the knot, and then you can like pull the other part up over their belly or over their bottoms, and then your shoulder straps can hold their head.
Hmm.
Oh, it was wonderful
Hmm.
because then I could get housework done while he slept. He would fall asleep so quickly
Hmm.
because he was so snug and
Hmm.
right at my heart.
And he can hear you, and he can smell you, and he's comforted, and and like it's just wearing babies makes so much sense. There's a reason
Oh,
why every traditional culture has some kind of baby wearing device,
yes.
because it's good for baby, it's good for mom, it lets you get life done. Like, love it.
Yeah. I could never not wear at this point.
Mhm. Especially when they're
Um,
teeny tiny.
oh yeah. Like we wore up until he was about, I would say probably 5 or 6 months old.
Hmm.
And then it he was getting a little too heavy for me
Hmm.
because I have back problems.
Hmm.
I couldn't wear him as much, and Shane was rarely comfortable with the boba wrap. But oh,
We loved That's part of why I loved ergo, is because once the kids were bigger, especially when they were just early walking, I would put it on my back because it's hard to get them on your back if they can't help. Like it was always a front wearing thing when they were little, but when they can help a little bit and they can help put their leg in, we would back wear a lot. Like when I was doing dishes and things like that, especially if they started feeling sick. I have a picture of Tori on my back, and she's like chewing on the strap and like looking at me like sideways, and I'm looking at her, and she's 2, I think, and she was just having a hard day. She just didn't feel good. And so I just packed her around all day, and it helped her be more content and not so fussy. Um so we used them a lot. But yeah, so that's kind of what we had for you guys today.
yeah.
Thank you for coming along and listening to us. We have fun things of our own that we have to get to today. So, love you, friend, and all of our listeners out there. I hope that you can find the beauty in your unvarnished life this week. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.